Welcome back, everyone, to Watch More Football. We're on episode 21. You're watching us on the Genreverse Sports YouTube channel. So please, if you drop by there, which you must be if you're watching the video, give us a like and a subscribe. It is a brand new channel, and we're going to be bringing on more sports content on there as well for some different sports, not just soccer. But for the moment, that's what we're here to do, is talk soccer, and specifically Premier League soccer as well, or football as we like to call it. Before we get on to that, while you're checking out our channels anyway, if you could check out the Genreverse YouTube channel, that's our main Genreverse YouTube channel. That's our main one, where you'll find all our entertainment news, reactions, reviews, lots of good stuff like that on there. You'll also find similar content to that in written format on lrmonline.com. So please take a look over there. You will find myself writing a lot of the articles over there, and producer Kyle, who produces this show, is probably who you'll see a lot on the Genreverse YouTube channel as well, because he runs a lot of the shows on there, if not them all. Occasionally you might see me. So anyway, I'm back with Dave, Mick and Ryan. I think Mick and I are a bit happier this week. Used to, well, Dave, it kind of remains to be because
we're
playing on a Monday night
now, typically.
So
maybe we should be called Chelsea Monday.
It really should. I mean, I don't know why they just decide to put every Monday night game as being Chelsea, but they seem to have done it a lot this season.
I don't know. Maybe seems to think we play every 3 days. I don't know why.
Maybe they get, I don't know, good views when they put Chelsea on a Monday night or something. I've no idea. But you know, I dare say you're not that happy overall with things at the moment. Well, I think for us, there's maybe a little bit of light in the tunnel.
Well, since
but we'll get to that.
We last aired, we beat United 4-3, which was a bit of a depressing game.
That was a great game. That was the, like, because me and Dave quite often talk about a League Cup game like 10, 12 years ago. That was 5-3, and like both teams played the kids, and it was an absolute carnage. But I suppose, like, outside of that, both teams were actually quite good, so it was a lot of fun to just not give a fuck. Whereas, both teams were so bad in that game.
Yeah, there was nothing to be happy about.
It just, I think it was the right result overall. I don't think we deserve to come away with that from the win.
I agree.
Even ignoring the bottle job at the end.
I think Kyle might have enjoyed it. It was like a basketball game.
Kyle would have loved it, yeah.
You might have actually enjoyed this one.
Well, I mean,
that's what they should do for football.
United were winning 3-2. United were winning 3-2 at the 99th minute, was it?
Yeah, so that was twice in 2 games. United had the lead going into the 98th minute, and twice in 2 games they lost points from it, which is just really bad. And it's now.
This one was.
It's now 1 win in 7. Yeah, it's now 1 win in 7 for United, which is not good.
That's bad. That's worse than Chelsea.
It really is. It's crept up on us. It's gone from a bit of a blip to a real problem.
It was like last night. I watched the Lyon match. Lyon against Brest.
That was madness, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. Lyon winning 1-0 half time. It ended up being 4-3 to Lyon. It was 1-0 to Lyon at half time. Then Brest came out the second half, went 3-1 up within half, 15 minutes. Then Lyon went on to win it with a 111th minute penalty.
I think it was 116th, wasn't it? But there was like a mass brawl. So both sides had a man sent off, and then it was like a penalty got called in like the 90th minute. But between the VAR check and the injury to Lacazette, because he got cleared out by the goalkeeper, it ended up being
truly wiped out.
116th minute penalty. Yeah.
Proper Fergie time. But that's the thing, I guess, where the memes come in a little bit this week is kind of, you know, that United have got beat twice in Fergie time, and it's almost like, and do you know what? We'll come back to United in a little bit, because first of all, I need to update in predictions. We didn't make any for last week because we missed the week. Sorry if you were wondering where we were last week. Stuff happened.
Sorry, Rich.
Giant celestial event that happened, and Kyle, producer Kyle, being an American and a God-fearing man, thought the world was ending. So we had to wait till the next day a little bit. But anyway,
hold on. I'm pretty sure what I did was change out the starter on a 2012 Chevy Equinox And I think that's what needed to be done. So.
Witchcraft.
That's what happened in the Tuesday
Witchcraft,
night.
exactly.
The Monday night was slightly different, but yeah. But
Okay, you're getting the dock
I'm
points.
just going to slag you off because I get the opportunity. Yeah, we got 2 points. You're on minus 1 million points now, Kel. Anyway, I'll just update you quickly on our predictions for the last time, right? So I get 9, Mick get 13, Dave get 10, and Ryan get 12. Which is
I'm taking it.
So Ryan's still behind Kyle then on points, is he?
Yeah.
Yes. So Mick is ahead. Mick is in first place with 80 points. Dave is on 79 points. He'd definitely be winning if he would gamble on Chelsea winning occasionally.
And if he turned up to a show once in a while.
And Ryan's on 70.
What was that?
Mick didn't get docked points in the end, did he?
You're on 70 points, Ryan. So you are behind me by 7 points. I'm in third place.
Ooh.
So you're
All
catching
to
up.
play for. All to play
Definitely
for.
caught up a bit. So
Sorry,
the
I'm
first
going to
thing
interrupt.
we're going to...
Everton have just missed from like 2 yards.
Good.
Nice.
They also played in
Over the ball.
the most ridiculous back pass about 5 minutes ago. Did you see that one?
Yeah. Literally 2
happy to
yards
see
out,
them
3
get
yards
played.
out. Put it over the bar.
But let's talk about the bottle jobs that happened this weekend. So North London had its annual bottle job. Both Spurs and Arsenal. It seems to have been catching because it happened in Liverpool as well. But we'll start off with the title race. Big swing this week because both Liverpool and Arsenal, who were slightly ahead by like 1 or 2 points, 1 point ahead of City in terms of games played, both lost. Man City won, so now they are 2 points ahead. So it shifted from being not in their hands to now being in City's hands, that if they win all their remaining games,
Which
they
I
will
think they
win the
will.
Championship again for the 4th time. I think most people probably think they will at this point.
Oh,
I don't think
1-0.
you'll find many pundits out there that are like, nah, Arsenal's still going to do it or Liverpool's going to do it, but, Would you say, Mick, I'm having missed that?
It's not even said
There's a goal at Stamford Bridge, but for whom? It's open.
Is there?
Yeah, for who? Over to you, Mick. Who scored it? I don't know, Jeff.
It's that man again.
Oh, Cole Palmer.
Nice finish.
He's
Cool.
Cole Palmer.
Cool.
No, you're going to sing a song like that Argentinian lad the other week.
No, I'm not.
Right, let's stop
Anyway.
watching the game that's on just now.
Yeah,
We can't
my
actually
apologies.
talk about the games that have happened previously. So, title race, is it over, or could there be more twists? Who's going to beat City from now to the end of the season?
Well, I think Tottenham will have a say in it because they've got to play all 3. So they could
yes,
have
true.
a say in it if they turn up, unlike they did on Saturday.
Yeah,
I
but
think-
I mean, like, it doesn't matter what they do really against the other two, does it? Except
Well, it does,
it makes
because
City
if they
win
don't
it
beat all
quicker,
3.
but it's whether they get a result. But I think it is at their ground, isn't it? It's away at Spurs' ground.
It's
the
at
match.
Spurs, yeah.
So,
At Spurs, yeah. And
correct me
City
if
don't
I'm
like
wrong,
going
but
to
don't
Spurs.
City have a terrible
Yeah.
record going to Spurs?
Yeah.
However,
Years when
They've got a
won.
terrible record against Spurs managers who like to park the bus.
And
And
Ange doesn't like
that's
to do
not-
that.
It's true.
Yeah, true.
But they did get a draw out of them earlier in the season, didn't they?
What's proven very effective against Spurs now is sitting back a little bit and hitting them in the counter. Every team that's done that is destroying them at the moment, and Man City will not do that. They'll.
No, I think they do.
I think they will.
Yeah, they can make themselves solid defensively and they get the ball up the pitch quickly.
They've
Definitely.
pretty much done that against Real Madrid.
Yeah. They've been doing it for years. What I would say, what's worrying about the state of the title race is that Liverpool and Arsenal both look properly spent yesterday. They just sort of ran out of steam, whereas City strolled to a 5-1 win in the way that they do. They didn't really break a
They weren't
sweat and they won
playing Luton,
5-1. Yeah, I know,
I
but
know.
it just, it's just one of those ones where they're just walking about and then they decide to have a shot at goal and it goes in, and just sort of nothing happens for 80 minutes.
It is.
And then they
worrying
score a
if
bunch
you
of
don't
goals.
want City to win the title for whatever reason.
I can't really say City losing any games.
No.
I
think got too easy.
I think they'll beat Spurs. Yeah, I think they'll
they will.
beat Spurs if it's a big game. It depends when it comes in terms of Champions League and what happens with the Champions League. But
even if they draw
in the cup, are they? Oh no, they are in the cup still.
Yeah, but even if they draw against Spurs, they'll win the other ones, and Liverpool and Arsenal drop points.
So yeah, I think
Liverpool are definitely out of it. I just think I don't know.
I wouldn't say
I can't see Liverpool recovering. But it's going to be whether Arsenal can sort of dust themselves off and go again.
For me, Arsenal are a better team this year than Liverpool. This is what I would say, right?
I still think
Arsenal play well and win games, right? But Liverpool have had too many games where they haven't really turned up, but they've still managed to get the wins anyway.
Yeah,
and that kind of has run out a little bit, and we're kind of seeing.
I've been saying that since Christmas, haven't I? That they've been really sort of dragging themselves through games, and it's caught up with them.
Been a bit like yourselves, Man United, in terms of higher points than the play would, but at another level. They've
got a bit more quality than us, I still think Arsenal are the sort of most well-rounded team of the three at the minute. But City have been there before. That's the thing. They can just brute force their way over now.
They do it every season.
Game for Arsenal
from January.
It's Villa. Villa's third, probably going to be sure. Fourth, probably sure to get Champions League this year.
Yeah. But, the thing was, Arsenal were all over him in the first half. Like they really should have gone into a 3-0 up. But Martinez had an absolutely brilliant game for Villa and goal.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like Liverpool where it was bad finishing. It was just, some really good last ditch defending and balls not quite falling the right way. But then they just came out the second half and just
for Saka, he missed the target.
Yeah.
If he hit the target, they were probably in.
Yeah. There was one where
hitting the post.
Well, yeah, but that was all that Villa did that half, and then just Villa came out second half and played them off the pitch.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. What you've got to remember is Villa come out and played better than them in the second half. Yeah. It's really as simple as that. And to do that at Anfield, isn't an easy thing to do.
Bloody hell, what they're both playing away.
The Emirates.
Neutral venue.
Emirates or whatever the hell they call their non-hybrid ground these days. So it's a good result for them as well, and probably does put them in pole position for the Champions League spot for sure.
Yeah. Well, Spurs still have that game in hand, don't they?
Yeah,
2-0.
Yeah,
they've got that game in hand, but one of them is against City. It's when you look at the. I think when you look at the league, right? If you look at the league over a course of the season, and it's not always fair, right? Because different teams are playing different teams. It's not just how many you've got at that point. It's also the schedule of who you've got left to play. And if you look at how well #Spurs have done at the moment, and then look at the fixtures they've got left to play, Arsenal, Liverpool. In fact, Kel, you could bring that link up if you don't mind, actually, at the moment, since we've kind of moved on to that anyway.
Arsenal next. Then they've got Chelsea, Liverpool,
Burnley,
City,
2-0.
City, and Sheffield United.
Yeah.
So,
I wasn't kind of thinking of Sheffield United. By that point, they might be all right, I think, by the time they get to Sheffield. But what I'm thinking is, if you look at those next games, if that was us, I'd be thinking we might not win a single game amongst them, and I think I'm not saying this will happen. I'm saying it's possible that Spurs lose all of those games or get maybe the odd draw in there, but they don't get any wins at any one of those games. And if you look at our fixture list, Newcastle's, I don't know if Kel can bring up our sort of fixture list at the moment and look at.
Obviously, we haven't got a game this weekend.
No.
So.
But we do play that game
nice.
At the end of it, which is Man United. But, when you look at the games that we've got, and again, I'm not saying we're going to win those games. I'm not saying we will definitely catch Spurs. What I'm saying is it's actually a possibility. It's possible that we could win all of those games and they could lose all of those games, and that's a 10-point swing if it happens. So
we've got 4 very winnable games in the next 4 games.
because you have to remember with us, we still do have an injury crisis, and if that, sorry, I'm laughing at his producer Kale in the background here at the moment who's hurt himself in some way, and I just like to laugh at people when they've hurt themselves. So apologies.
Get bent.
Are you all right, producer Kale?
Yeah. I'm good. I smacked my hand on my mic stand.
Sorry, where was I? But,
it's not a punch bag.
Yeah. So I mean, you never know. I mean, we could lose some of those games for sure. I mean, you just never know who turns up with us every week.
But with the two away games,
keep that 11 that started the game against Spurs and keep them fit. That 11's good enough to win. I think.
It looks like
the thing is, Cam. The thing is, sorry, Ryan. Even Eddie Howe came out and said, because we've got this breakout this weekend, we've got another 3 or 4 players coming back from injury before our next game. So that's
who?
He just said there's another 3 or 4 players to come back. So like Joe Willock,
maybe come back. But...
Yeah, I think Nick Pope's due back. He's due back at the end. I wouldn't want him rushed back, but I'm sure he's due back. I'm not sure who else will be due back, but
because there just seems to be no signs about him.
No, I don't think it would be Callum Wilson. But he did say hopefully there'll be 3 or 4 new players back for the next game.
I mean,
so then if you look at that Crystal Palace away,
Lewis Hall will be fit. Tino's back fit now. So
them two were on the bench on Saturday, weren't they? I think Tino came on.
They both come on. No, they both come on. Hall come on. As well.
You certainly look like you've got players back now that you can actually field a side. And that front 3, if they'd stayed fit all season, you guys would be in a lot better position because they look good
That's
together.
That's the first time he's played that front 3, and they look very good together. I think it's worth pointing that out that Gordon on the right, I think, is actually playing better than he was in the left.
Now, can I say something? Didn't I say this a few weeks back? That's the way he should be playing. Gordon right, Barnes left. He's up top, and you disagreed.
Yeah. But, you know... Luckily,
I don't know how Gordon didn't get man of the match on Saturday, to be honest. They gave it to Isak because
Ryan, I missed it.
I thought Gordon should have been man of the match on Saturday. They gave it to Isak because he scored his 2 goals, but everything good about Newcastle was through Gordon, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think Gordon was the man of the match. And I say that
this season.
Fabian Schär had an outstanding game against Spurs. I mean,
he never put Dan Burn
wrong. He was Dan Burn had a good game, but Schär was like, he was just everywhere. Some of the blocks he made, and he scores the 4th goal as well. Do you know what I mean? He was absolutely fantastic. His best game of the season.
One last thing on that game. James Madison's a prick.
Of course he is.
What with his
2 games in a row now. He's got away with a red card that was nailed on. He punched a Forest player.
I agree.
And then he
karate kicked.
Who was it? Was it Gordon or Bruno?
I think it was Murphy. Was it not?
Yeah, Murphy.
Fine.
It was Murphy.
Yeah.
But also, so there was a moment in the first half where I think Gordon was breaking and Madison just shoves him off the ball and gets free kick but no booking, and then Burn a couple of minutes later sort of steps across and Madison goes down basically. And he's begging for a card.
And he was just all over the ref wanting a card, but yet he had just got away with it. And it's clear that the ref had went, right, I gave you one, I'm giving them one as well. And then the next tackle that you made, he gave a yellow for it. So after that, he kept it fair. I thought the referee had a very good game. He didn't have anything to do,
He's a lucky boy, but some top class shit
he was lucky with that one. I think he was lucky VAR didn't pull that back and look at it, because I think there was a bit of venom in that kick. It looked to me like, and even the commentator said there's a bit of frustration in that.
Because he was nowhere near the ball. He was never going to get the ball. It was
very high.
Do you think he's struggled a lot since he came back from injury? Because before
he's not been as good.
He was like the most informed player in the league.
He was phenomenal.
Did he say his press conference after the game? He was nearly crying.
I didn't see it.
Just saying how bad they were. He couldn't even look at the camera. He was constantly going like this.
You know,
Who, Madison or
he could have been playing at St James's
Madison.
Park this year, but you know,
It makes me
laugh.
laugh.
He wanted the London life, so
Mm.
you know,
Yeah. Makes
good on
me
you,
laugh.
son. See you later.
Postecoglou in his post-match interviews, he always looks down. So like he gets this really big like shadow over his eyes, like some anime character mourning the death of his best friend. He's just always, yeah, we were really good today, mate. Yeah.
Do you think Postecoglou smokes 40 fags a day as well? Because he's always coughing in every interview.
I mean,
he's
a Greek Aussie. He probably does, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, I just, you know, who knows? You know, I smoke. I don't cough that much, but unless I'm ill. But anyway, but it was funny to see history repeat itself and Spurs absolutely bottle it again at St James's Park.
Yeah.
Run about
What's
the
the
same
aggregate
time of the
score
season.
of a
10-1.
Well, they beat us 4 at Spurs, didn't they? So
Yeah, they hit us for 4.
It was by 4. So really, you could just cancel it this year's and look at last year's. No, I mean, yeah, we're
Just if
At least you didn't
look at
set
the
off the air
home
raid
games.
sirens this year.
Oh yeah.
No, there wasn't any national emergency after it happened this time, to be fair, which we did get last year. But no, it was lovely to see us beating them, and it doesn't really mean anything. It's just one game. But you look at that fixture list, as we pointed out, our fixtures versus theirs. You just don't know. I don't think anybody's catching Villa, and I don't think Spurs will catch them either, not with that fixture list. But you know. Yeah, I don't think
it's a decent run Newcastle put together. They've quietly sort of got their shit back together, haven't they?
Yeah, when the players are
we're also playing more
when you look at it, we'll play like Palace, Sheffield United, Burnley, Brighton, Man U, Brentford.
See, Palace aren't going to give you that space though.
Man United away.
You know, you guys are really good on the counter. It'd be interesting to see whether you can break a team like Palace down. But
yeah, I mean, it could be even things like that. But I guess even points at the moment are prizes. You know what I mean?
I'll give you guys the win against us now because it's been rescheduled for May 15th, and best case scenario, we're preparing for an FA Cup final then. So yeah, I don't see us getting anything
unless
out
you
of
get scudded out by Coventry.
The thing is
get scudded out by Coventry.
It's literally
best case scenario.
Isn't that 4 days before the final game of the season, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah, but the league will be dead for us by then, to be honest.
I mean, maybe not. You have this. I mean, you're exactly the same points as Newcastle now, so theoretically you could do what I'm saying that we could do, but I think you've got a harder.
Yeah, but they've got a minus goal difference.
We've got minus goal difference. We've got our next 3 games are like Coventry, Burnley, and Sheffield United, and I'm not confident that we can get a win in any of them. To be honest, the wheels are properly falling off.
Let's just go on to Man United a little bit. So you were saying in the chat earlier on something about Eric Ten Hag out. Is it the end for you as far as Ten Hag's concerned? Do you think he's just?
I think it's fairly irredeemable now. I don't think he'd be sacked before the end of the season. I don't even think he'd be sacked in the summer still. But it's more. I don't think he's going to be the one to take us back to the top, because the problems that we've had this season.
CV any good?
No. I don't think he's necessarily a bad manager. Like a lot of people talk like he was never any good and all that sort of thing. It's just. He's not really responded to setbacks the way that we've needed him to. He's very much been in job preservation mode and trying to get results rather than performances. And he's really sort of not been able to change what's been going wrong.
It's the same things happening. I get what you mean.
Yeah. What I would say, I was quite sort of bullish at the start of this year, sort of from Boxing Day onwards. Because although we were very open, we were finding a way to defend well in the box, and on the counter we were looking really dangerous. That has basically, since Højlund got injured, that's sort of broken down. It's not helped that all of our defenders have been injured at some point this season. and we're on like
It almost
30
feels like
different.
you play the opposite now, Ryan. That I feel like you just go at teams and attack them, but you leave so much space at the back as soon as they get the ball, and that's why you get these basketball matches.
Yeah, we've never sat back all season. What it's been is he's been aware that he can't come up with three midfielders that can control possession in the middle of the park, so he's not tried to. But what we were doing when we were playing, in my opinion, good football, was once it got to the final third, we were managing that situation a lot better. We were being proactive in how we were defending. We were fine. We were conceding shots, but the shots we were conceding were from way out wide or at rubbish angles, or someone was getting in the way of them. Now we're just letting people in behind like every 5 minutes, and part of that is because we've had like 30 different back fours this season. Johnny Evans has played more football than I think anyone ever thought he was going to play this season.
Yeah, I didn't expect to ever see him play for you.
Yeah. And he's been one of our better defenders this season, but there's only so much he can do. And Maguire's been, we went into the season, Ten Hag didn't want him, basically. He was trying to get him to
the game. Yeah.
But he's been, I'd say he's been our best centre back this season. He's
have been the issues. Yeah.
Is that why he's
roundabout? I don't think Maguire's a great organiser. I think he needs somebody with him to organise, and he'll do his job. He's a
good firefighter, and he's had a lot of firefighting to do. But the front three, it's broken down a little bit in terms of the combinations and providing an outball and getting in behind.
In the Bournemouth game, you were hitting a lot of long balls, and Eric Ten Hag was shouting at the sidelines, and he was doing this: pass it between you, between you. What's basically, why are you hitting these long balls? So it almost feels like they're just ignoring what he's telling them to do as a coach.
It's bizarre because Bruno can't, for all the good that Bruno does, he can't keep the ball. If you press Bruno, he's either going to try and flick it first time, or he's going to try and ping it, and he's going to give the ball away. If he's got space, if he's got space, he's deadly. But if you press him, he's rubbish. But Casemiro and Mainu, if they both were told to sort of sit in the middle and just sit in the middle and take the ball off the defence, between them, they have got enough skill on the ball to do something with it and keep hold of it. But
Casemiro's retired, I think, last year. I think he decided this was
Casemiro's being, but I think Casemiro's being asked to cover like 60% of the pitch on his own. So when he does get the ball, he's absolutely knackered and he can't do anything with it. But if we had Shaw and Martinez fit all season, that would be different because they can both take the ball out from defence.
Yeah.
But what's not happening is runs in behind from Højlund, Rashford, and Garnacho, which were happening sort of January, February, aren't happening the same way now, and so that outball's not really there.
Still playing well, but he can't do it on his own.
Yeah, there's a bit of controversy because he got subbed at half time because he wasn't having a good game. Much as he has been really good this season, he's 19. He shouldn't be an undroppable. It shouldn't be a big deal to take him off at half time.
No. Doesn't matter how old you are.
But it's United, so everything's a story.
But it made a drama because he liked some tweets moaning that he gets subbed or something like that online.
Even that, it's not a drama. Like he can be, he's probably within his rights to say, "I've been the best player over the last few months. Why am I the one getting subbed?"
So
but equally, he shouldn't be immune from being subbed off. But going back to Ten Hag leaving, I still don't think it'll happen this summer, just because I think Ineos will have identified that the problems are upstairs rather than the manager, because we've had so many good managers who've just not been able to get going. We need to sort out the upstairs first.
I'm not sure he's the right guy.
I don't think Ten Hag's going to win as a league eventually. I don't think Ten Hag's going to win as a league at all. But there's no point bringing in a new manager. There's no point bringing in a new manager while we're still trying to get a director of football to look over the transfer strategy, because he's still going to have the same.
So you're going to wait until February 2026 because he's not going to pay anything for Ashworth. So you're not going to get him till February
Yeah, but
2026.
it's okay. Big Jim's having chats with Amanda Stavely,
Which aren't going anywhere because they want to offer
I just don't
£5
get
million.
it. Why won't they just let Ashworth go?
He's offering £5 million.
Pay your money.
£5 million he's offering for Ashworth.
For that.
Amanda Stavely's looking at him going, and then add 15.
Yeah, just let him sit in the garden and leave. That's honestly the best solution. It would please everybody.
Yeah.
Well, except Man United.
What frustrates me about the whole chat is that even like the United podcast that I listen to, who've got really, they don't, they're always really honest in what they say about United, and if it's not going well, they'll say. But they're all still talking as if we need to get the right manager and the right signings in so we can be Champions League next year or we can be challenging for the title next year. No, fuck that. Like, genuinely, don't even think about where we end up in the table next year. We need to, trim all the high earners out of the squad. We need to bring the average age of the squad down, and we need to find a way of playing that suits the players and is consistent and repeatable and achievable. And we do all those things and not worry about where we finish up and not panic if we lose a few matches. Eventually, it will come together and the young players will mature in time.
Most of your
but that's why we are where we are, is because every single season
we're the biggest and most successful team in the league. That's most of your fans feel. Let's face it.
Every single season since Fergie's left, we've always been, this manager's going to do it, this player's going to do it, and not doing any of the things that a Liverpool, City, even Arsenal did to slowly build up.
This could go on for another 20 years before they get it right again.
But it will do all the time that we think we're one window away from being successful. So whether it's Ten Hag or whether it's someone else, I want their brief to be actually coaching the players, because we've got loads of really good young players, but they need to be coached and brought through and allowed to mature properly, rather than basically we've had an 18-year-old and a 19-year-old carry us this season, and that's not sustainable, and they're not going to turn into top players all the while that they've got that pressure on them.
No, fair enough. The other thing I wanted to bring up about Man United was the decisions that you got in the game, because I think you agreed that the first one wasn't a penalty. I don't know what you thought of the second one. I don't know if I asked you that.
I think it should have been a penalty.
Should have been a penalty, you think? Yeah.
So I mean, part of that was angry because
talk a little bit, but is the kind of decisions that, if you look at, we talked about that you've got a negative goal difference, right? If you look at some of the decisions you've had, which people have been a bit like, that was a bit lucky, or the extra time you've had there, it's a bit lucky, all these kind of things, you'd be so much further down that.
But you say that, and I think we were very lucky with the decision we got on Saturday, and we didn't deserve the result because of those decisions. But I'm struggling to think of any really dodgy ones that have swung a game for us this season, apart from maybe the red card against Wolves that didn't happen on the first day of the season. I'm really struggling to think of any proper. I know historically fine, but this season I don't think we've actually. I think we've been hard done by as much as we've been gifted.
I can't think of any reason you've been hard done by anything much, to be honest. Ten Hag's moaned about a few decisions, but you're like,
there's a few penalties that I think we could have gotten, but we didn't. I can't think of any where we sort of robbed based on decisions this season.
There may be not obvious bad decisions, but here's my point, right? So when there was a chance that there was a penalty for Man United, the VAR check took less than 3 seconds. It was less than 3 seconds. By the time the referee had blew for a penalty, it was like the VAR like, yes, it has to be clear and obvious before we get rid of this, so we don't need to bother. And I'm not saying people are cheating or anything like that, but it almost felt like this eagerness to award Man United the penalty. Whereas when it was the other way, it was like they were analysing it frame by frame, and it just felt to me like whatever we can do to avoid giving this as a penalty. And I think a lot of people looked at that and felt, this doesn't feel right. You know, it just doesn't feel right. Why the difference in how long it takes? Was the first one such an obvious decision that it was a handball that it shouldn't even be looked at again? Yep, handball. I think almost everyone thinks it wasn't a handball.
Yeah, I don't think it should be given. In terms of, I don't think the law should be that way. But because they're very sort of, they try to do fixed definitions on handball, and it means they don't actually look at the incident itself. Yeah. But it was very clear his arm was out, and it hit his arm.
Well, his hand was like this at his side, and he turns like this as the ball comes towards him, and it basically hits like here.
What gets me is how close. It's a deflection from his own player.
It's a deflection, which is why it's a bad one.
In close proximity, and in close proximity to him as well, where it deflects onto his arm. It's not a penalty.
I agree with that. The Bournemouth one. The Bournemouth one again. I think we can say the foul happened outside the box, but where it's a penalty for me is like clearly Camboila's just body checking him to stop him getting into the box, and. Yeah, but that should be.
If it's outside, we look at outside,
and it's all about law.
You're talking about the spirit of the game here.
His foot was right in the line, so they're judging the fact that his foot was in the line. He hits him, right in the line. It can't possibly have been in the box. If you look at the line they drew for the free kick, it was like 5 millimeters away from the
box.
And
this is where it comes into my rant. It comes into my rant last time about what should be a penalty and what shouldn't, and spirit of the game, because you look at the advantage that Convoila got there compared to going back to the Newcastle West Ham game, the advantage that Sufal got against Gordon, and it's night and day, isn't it? And fine, 100 years ago when the rules were made, it was probably less of a grey area. But the way the game is now, they really need to take more of not a subjective view, but they need to really take context of what's happening into account. And I do think there needs to be a different threshold for giving a penalty because of how high a chance it is for a goal. So the one against Bournemouth, I think, should be a penalty because he's prevented him from getting into a box, prevented him from getting a clear shot away and probably scoring.
I understand what you're saying on that,
even if it happened outside the box.
That's the thing, though. Like, he could have been 5 yards away, and he could have gotten into the box. He could have been 5 yards away from the box, and you would have still thought it would have been a penalty because he's stopping him getting into that box. You can't do that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, the foul originates outside the box, doesn't it? But it continues basically on the line.
This is supposedly
just inside.
Look at the Newcastle example, Mick. That exactly. To Dan Burn, right. So. Dan Burn starts fouling a guy, and it's clear he's
outside the box.
I forget who we were playing.
It was against Wolves, was it?
Right, and we start fouling him outside the box. Now everybody can see what happens. The player stays on his feet because he can stay on his feet until he gets to the box, and as soon as he goes to the box, he drops down. They looked at that in VHR, and they ruled that even though the foul began outside the box, it had kept continuing in. That surely
so they gave the penalty
applied to
the Bournemouth one.
This one yesterday as well.
It's a bit radical and it will never happen. But for stuff like this, I think they need to look at it and say, is this worth an 80% shot on goal? Is this foul that much of a big deal, that much foul play that it's worth 8% of a foul? Not did it fall a few millimeters either side of a line?
Rather than
it is.
But it's got to go inside the box to be given as a penalty. Do you know what I mean?
So do you think it wasn't a penalty, Mick, because they proved
I think it was a penalty because it went inside the box.
Outside the box?
No, it went into the box.
I think his foot was in the box. Dave, what did you think? Did you think it was a pen?
I thought he fell into the box. I don't think the foul happened inside the box.
The contact was still initiated on the line of the box.
I'd agree with that.
Just before
but my point on that as well would be, does Camboiala know what side of the line he's on when he's making that foul? He doesn't. It's a penalty.
Probably not.
You've got to look at the intention and what players are aware of and what they're trying to do. And it's just, you need to look at what the player is trying to do rather than the outcome, because the outcome can change on so many different things.
What cards are for, though, I guess. but maybe the argument is it's a free kick, but it should have been a red card because.
Yeah, I think it's a red card. It's because
the chance,
If he doesn't body check him there, he's got a clear shot on goal. So I think it should be a red card as well.
Might have not changed
I feel bad. I feel bad for him because he's done well when he's come in previously, and there's clearly a good player in there. But he got left exposed quite a bit, but he really didn't have a good time against Bournemouth.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, Ryan.
No, it's fine.
What's happening in the game then? You might as well tell
Everton
us.
are just falling apart. It's 4-0.
Everton are fell apart. What's the score? 4-0 to Chelsea.
4-0. Yeah.
I'll just put in there that Chelsea have lost the Leeds 9 games in a row now. So
you're not losing this one.
Going to be amazing.
Surely not 4-0 though, Dave.
I tell you what.
I mean, I think
hat-trick goal. God.
Perfect hat-trick as well, I've read.
Yeah, well, Pickford just passed it to Palmer. It was about 40 yards out, so Palmer just chipped it over him and went.
Anyway, Kyle pointed out that the last time Man United won was March 9th when they played Everton, which was only a month ago.
Yeah.
So,
cheers,
anyway,
Carl.
just putting that out.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks. Kyle.
Good lad, Kyle.
I'm looking at what have we got left to do. I mean, I guess, Kyle, what you could do is maybe bring up the tables and we'll have a look at kind of what's going on. So, obviously, the title race is still the 3 title race. Man City could lose. None of us think they will. So we all think City will win it, but there's certainly nobody else coming into that race. The next race is obviously for the Champions League spot. Does anyone see Villa not making that now? I still think Spurs will.
I don't know.
Sometimes Villa can be hit and missy.
Yeah, especially the last few months, or a couple of months maybe, they've been very inconsistent.
I still think they'll get it.
Sean Dyche looks like he's chewing on a wasp.
I still think they'll do it because Spurs' run-in's too hard and nobody else is going to catch them unless we perform miracles, which isn't going to happen.
Mick, could we catch Spurs, do you think, to get the first Europa spot? Or
we
not?
Could. Theoretically, we could win every game from now till the end of the season, but I don't think so.
They'll draw at least a few games, Spurs.
I'd be happy with 7th, by the way. I'd be happy with 7th.
I'd be over the moon.
Now in a Conference League spot, by the way.
To be honest, for the season that we've had, the injuries that we've had this season, being where we are now, with 6 games left is unbelievable.
It is, really. Because we at various points were saying our season's over. We were just going to see a loss after loss after loss. And we've had a few. But no, you even said that.
I never said our season was over. When we were sitting in 9th with Chelsea ahead of us, you were saying our season's done. Just end it now, And I said to you, nah.
Well, fair enough, Nostradamus. But you were more positive than me. But no, I'm being the positive one. Come on.
I think we'll finish in the top 7, maybe top 6.
If we finish above Man United, I don't know if you know this, Ryan, it would be the first time that Newcastle have ever finished above Man United in the Premier League since it began.
I didn't know that, but we're on course to have a worse season points and position wise than we were under Moyes as well, which is
that's crazy to think about.
Yeah, and I don't think
you never get given much time.
The thing, Moyes' season was worse for me because it was just so uninspired.
Straight off
the back of a title-winning side.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel that way. It's been really frustrating this season, but it doesn't feel.
But that is like the title that everybody says, how did you win it that year? Because you won that good. It was fairly draggy.
We won it.
Title,
We won it with a midfield of Tom Cleverley and Anderson. And that particular thing is exactly why Fergie is the greatest manager of all time. No other manager.
But he's also had Howard Webb.
That's true.
Anyway.
No, we also had Robin van Persie play the only good season he ever played in his whole career.
Isn't this also come into the European question, or do you think it's really at the moment it's like Man United, Newcastle below that?
I mean, the question with Europe really, the question with Europe really is: are Arsenal, Liverpool, and West Ham going to pull their fingers out this week and rescue the coefficient so we can have
They've
a
got
5
to.
Champions League.
Otherwise, they're going to ruin it for the rest of us.
There is that.
Because at the minute, it's going to be Germany and Italy.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, so Italy are nailed on now, I think. So it's whether Arsenal can sort of do the job against Bayern, and if Leverkusen are still hungover from winning the title over the weekend, West Ham might do it. But
yeah,
well, Liverpool
they-
really need to pull their fingers out.
You've got
Liverpool
is
are
Villa
absolutely
doing
fucked.
well in the conference, and maybe Man City or Arsenal going on and winning the Champions League. But they both
it needs
this week
it needs
as well,
City or
so,
Arsenal to win the Champions League and Villa to go deep, I think.
But
I
you're
could see
saying
Villa doing
Liverpool
well
are
this year,
fucked.
but the other ones-
I can say that. I can
Liverpool's
probably say they are 3-0 down to Atlanta. And
We've seen them
Atlanta
come
have
back
won.
for 3-0
Exactly.
at Barcelona, and they had to go to Barcelona and beat them, and they were
Yes,
absolutely
and
annihilated
they
them.
came.
So
They came
it's hard
from.
before.
Hang on, but didn't they come back from 3-0 down at half time against AC Milan in the 2005 Champions League final?
Yeah.
So
Didn't
right,
they?
Barcelona.
funny story about that. So obviously, they won the Champions League in 2005. So I was living in Australia at that point, and the games were on at stupid times. The following year, they played the FA Cup final against West Ham, and my dad was not going to get up at midnight to watch Liverpool in a cup final, so he recorded it and watched it first thing. And I come downstairs, and he's got the cup final on, and I see Liverpool are 3-0 up, and I was like, "Oh, they'll probably do what they did last year and come back and win it." About an hour later, he comes storming up the stairs going, "Did you check the score?" I'm like, "No, what? Liverpool have just come back from 3-0 down and beat West Ham in the cup final."
Yeah. The Liverpool aren't adverse to doing it, but Atlanta have won 9 of the last 10 home games.
Not mugs.
Yeah, but also
they
Atalanta
They haven't been great this season.
Atalanta, all of their goals were counter-attacks, weren't they? They just got in behind. And if Liverpool are chasing a game, that's just going to keep happening, isn't it? So,
yeah. And the Italians love that. They love to sit back deep and defend. So, yeah, I can't see it. But, it'd be great to get that extra place.
Never say never.
But, we'll
saying
see
that, if that
happens.
extra place is going to Spurs, I don't care. If we don't get that fifth place.
I think
Yeah, but,
Spurs are still
Newcastle
going
to catch them, man, Dave. Come on.
Just let's hope they don't make Champions League, because that means they've
Newcastle are going to catch them.
Ange doesn't even want Champions League. Did you hear him last week?
No, he doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't want Champions League.
Give a shit.
He doesn't even want players that want Champions League at his club, man. He's a fool.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes at the end. But I think they could be in for a tough couple.
I do sort of agree with the point that he was trying to make, though. Like, there's no, from my perspective, like United constantly trying to get back in it. There's no point being in it if we're not going to be competitive. I'd rather build more, sustainably.
For $1 million in the summer, he's got a big squad. He's got the squad to be in the Champions League, so we can't really say that. I think that's a bit different for Eddie Howe saying that and going, we were a bit short of squad, which he never said, by the way. And I'm saying that when you've got Spurs and you've got, you just leave Richarlison on the bench half the time because you don't need him, and you've got Sessegnon that just never plays, they've got plenty of players, they're just not getting the best out of sometimes as well. So anyway, shall we do our predictions for next week, which Kel we're doing it different now. Kel will bring them up on the screen. So look cool. Obviously, in terms of the games that we've got coming up this week, they are some of them are FA Cup games. Man City are playing Chelsea in the FA Cup, and Coventry who are a division below the Premier League, are playing Man United in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Because of that, Newcastle should have been playing Man United. Because we've got no team to play, we don't. As Mick said earlier on, we don't have a fixture this week, so we're not on that list. There must be someone else that doesn't have it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to stay on it. Just got the week off.
There's another 2 teams that haven't got a game.
Chelsea and Man City are playing each other.
Two teams as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe they switched some games.
Villa
are
playing.
Yeah, Villa are playing Everton for
I think Hughes played 33.
Spurs
so there's 7 Premier League games on.
Spurs City.
Yes. Yeah.
Spurs City, and then Chelsea versus.
Try to look and see who's not there. No, they're there. Brighton.
Brighton. Yeah.
Brighton.
Well done, mate.
Right. So, that's the ones we've not gone. In terms of the Premier League, the cup games are the cup games. Cup games can happen. But in terms of the Premier League games,
I went for a Man U win, but I can honestly see Coventry sneaking it.
I'm not confident. It's just
honestly,
even if we do win, it's going to be really sort of just
dogged
fun to watch.
Yeah. I think Coventry will be the ones up for it. And these guys will be like, "Oh, let's just try and get through this game and win it as quick as we can." And that's been the problem with you. Do you think any chance away to City, Dave, getting through in the cup?
It's not away; it's at Wembley.
I don't know. I mean,
Chelsea
I feel like both games we played against City, I feel like we probably had more chances than they did, but. I don't know.
Dave, think positive. You've beaten Everton 4-0 at half time, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm just. We're a coin flip team. You never know what we're going to do. No matter who we play.
Not only that, but City are playing against Real Madrid on Wednesday. And
that
could go all the way.
Resting a few players if they were a tough game.
I genuinely think Chelsea can do it if they, take the game to City.
You never know.
Like they did the last time.
If Rodri's still putting his feet up.
It'll be interesting. Anyway, I don't think they'll be cut and dry. But I think they're probably more exciting than the Premier League games. Maybe Everton versus Forest, Luton versus Brentford. There's a lot of low table games on.
I think Bournemouth will be a good game, I think.
Yeah. I can see Liverpool slipping again.
Sheffield United versus Burnley. I'll put down as 1-1, but I think both teams should just not bother with a goalkeeper and see what happens. They've been going
like just agree with each other beforehand. Who scores the most goals? Why not?
I could see Liverpool slipping up away to Fulham.
Yeah, I think Fulham will beat them. Yeah,
I think it'll be 1-1.
I've got Liverpool to win, but I think they'll come back for this. Like they'll have a reaction. Is my thoughts. But I mean, they've got what happens in midweek.
They have to give everything against Atlanta, I guess. So they have to give the whole 9 yards.
They could be absolutely buggered come Saturday or Sunday. Yeah. Oh well, we'll be back to talk about those games next Monday, and we'll see how they all got on and what changes there have been to the table and what's going on at that point. It just remains for us to say thanks very much, as always, for tuning in and watching us this week. Please feel free to come back next week. We'll be talking more Premier League football. If you can, give us a like and a subscribe. And remember to check out the Genreverse and check out lrmonline.com as well for all your entertainment stuff. Anything to say, guys, before we wrap up?
Come on, Rich Bally, what's your predictions?
Yeah.
Everyone else, let me know.
I went to my local team again last week, 6th tier team. They needed a win to have any chance of staying up, and they got a 0-0 draw. And it was grim, and it was raining. But do you know what? It was a good night out. So.
And Sunderland are mathematically staying in the Championship again. Unlucky.
And Portsmouth bottled winning the league against Bolton at the weekend, so they've got to win tomorrow instead.
So you're saying the bottle crashed?
No, I'm not saying that.
Bottle jobs.
Okay. I'm not getting into that. Right. Bye-bye, folks. See you next week.
Cheers.